They say it takes a community to raise a child with or without disabilities. We all have strengths and challenges, every one of us. Yet, we are not inclusive of children of special needs or their parents as a society. To a large extent, things are changing, yes. But we still have to address a lot of issues concerning mothers, especially a mom of special needs kid. We're still not living in that world yet. But we invited one such incredible mom who's trying to change this on a grassroots level. We recorded this episode on Mother's Day, and we are talking to Sabrina Picariello. She's the founder of Wayland Moms Group, a crowd capital site, and Moms of Amazing Kids, a volunteer run community group in Massachusetts for moms raising children with medical, developmental, and any other disabilities. What is their mission? It is to help moms connect with each other for emotional support and meaningful friendships. So please welcome Sabrina. Thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you so much for having me, Yamini.
Such a pleasure. Well, before we begin this conversation, I want to remind you of how we met at one of the social nights for moms that you organized at Conrad's.
Oh, yes.
So curious to know what got you to Wayland.
So I got married in 2011. That same week, we moved into our house in Wayland, and I think I deserve a medal for that.
Wow.
So we moved to Wayland because we just thought it was a really beautiful town, obviously excellent school systems, and we loved that it was so close to Boston, but yet, you know, right behind me are a bunch of cows living back on Drumlin Farm. So we loved that we could enjoy both the city and then that's really small town feel.
Yeah, I think every guest who comes on this show, they always often talk about the nature they're surrounded with.
Yes, yes.
Right?
We have lots of deer, and I'm sure everybody's got turkeys running around their yard.
I had a bunch of raccoons sitting on the trees. You were working before you moved in here. Tell us a little bit about working at care.com.
Sure. So I joined care.com. I was almost fresh out of college, and it was a startup company. I'm not sure what number employee I was. It was probably like 20 or something like that.
Did you get the equity?
Are you ready? So it was a startup company. It was incredibly fast paced. And, you know, with the startup, you're kind of the jack of all trades. So you're kind of doing a little bit of everything. But I was focusing on marketing. So I was there for 7 years. From startup till they went public. So it was an incredible journey. I learned so much working at care.com and had incredible mentors, particularly women. So I had a lot of people that I looked up to, and it helped me kind of take that step.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah.
In what ways did it help you navigate through these crowdsourcing and crowd connecting platforms?
So again, because I did so much at care.com, I kind of had a little bit of that marketing experience, how to reach out to people, how to get members. So right before I left care.com, they acquired a group platform. And I think actually the WCPA was on there for a little bit. So I got to interact with a lot of mom groups. And this is before I even had my daughter. I think I was even pregnant at the time. So I got to learn about what people were doing in mom groups, and I thought it was pretty cool. So, you know, once I had my daughter, I kind of remembered about these groups, and it kind of gave me a little bit of a push, like, oh, hey, I could do this too.
So tell us more about the group, Sabrina. How many are there?
So the umbrella is Moms of Amazing Kids. So we have a mom's group that's called MAC Moms, and it's strictly for mothers raising children with disabilities. Any disability, any age. We just, the one thing I require is that anybody that comes in, they are non-judgmental and they're incredibly supportive. The other group that I started, I think 2 years ago, is called Together We Play. It's an inclusive play group. So this is open to anybody, whether you have a child with a disability or not, you know, any cultural background, anyone that wants to come and play and be inclusive and just be welcoming and kind to one another.
Right. How wonderful.
Yeah. Some of the other groups that we have are, let's see, so there's MAC families, and this, again, is open to extended families of our MAC moms. So dads, grandmothers, aunts, all different relatives. The other set of groups that I have are childcare groups.
Mm-hmm.
So to find a babysitter or a nanny or a PCA.
Oh, that's such a must.
That's how I found my sitter, and she is amazing. She changed my life. Seriously, she kind of changed my life. She gave me time away from home to regroup and have a little bit of a quiet in my mind and grab a coffee. So that's been really helpful.
Well, that's much needed. Sabrina, while the concern of caring for children with special needs affects both the parents, the toll on careers tends to be more pronounced for mothers. What does support mean for moms of amazing kids? What do you think it is?
I guess what I always say when a mom that comes to me that her child is newly diagnosed and I tell them find support, what that means is find people to be part of your tribe.
Right.
Find people that are going to understand the challenges, but also the joys of raising your child.
Absolutely.
I think people go through a grief process sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, when their child is diagnosed. But that doesn't mean it's sad. There's so many amazing things about our kids. And so you want to surround yourself with people that understand you, that know what you're going through, but that are also going to uplift you and help you see the positive side.
I see.
But be real too.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just going to sugarcoat everything. The other thing is resources. So there's an endless amount of resources out there, but it's often difficult to locate them. And
Absolutely. I think it's so important to be connected with a group where, you can find these resources.
Moms know the best, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We know everything.
Oh.
But it takes time, especially when your child is first diagnosed. You're kind of in the weeds, you're at doctor's appointments, and it's really difficult and overwhelming to understand everything that's out there to support you. So our group is tremendous when it comes to providing these resources for one another. And then the other thing that I say about our group and why it's so supportive is that it helps you find a little bit of balance in your life. And for me personally, because I am organizing these events, I have no choice. I have to go. So I can't really make an excuse. But once you're there, you are so glad that you got out of the house.
Yeah, I know. It's always it's the threshold. You have to just cross that and you feel very comfortable.
Exactly.
That,
And it's so important. It really is to find time for yourself, to have conversations, real life conversations with one another, to laugh, to share stories, and to talk about stuff outside of special needs. First and foremost, we're women.
Oh my God.
Yes. We're moms.
Yes.
Not everything is about
the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I will say that is an amazing part of our group.
Of course.
But it's also important to do that with your friends that don't have children that have disabilities, because it kind of, forces you to talk about other things,
right,
and take your mind off of some of the challenges that you are facing at home.
True that. Every phase of life, we're actually talking about our own phases. We don't go out of that comfort zone and we speak about what's the movie now. Did you listen to that podcast on Met Gala? Did you see Lady Gaga's dress?
Oh my Lord, I saw it.
But Sabrina, what was the motivation behind making and getting into these crowdsourcing platforms?
So my daughter, we noticed that something was going on developmentally. I noticed when she was around 4 months old. Nobody really believed me. She was, every kid develops at a different stage.
Right.
So this was all kind of building up. Right before she got diagnosed, when she was around 2 years old, I felt this desperation to talk to other people that understood what I was going through. You feel very isolated. It's scary, and you just want to talk to other people that have gone through it or are going through it, so that okay, this person has done this, I can do it too. It's kind of that affirmation.
Yeah, if not the same situation, at least a similar situation.
Exactly. Yeah. And for me personally, my daughter has a very rare condition. So there was no way I was going to find anyone that was dealing specifically what we were dealing with. So I actually did look for various support groups around.
And you didn't find one?
So I found some.
Right.
So they were either very specific to the diagnosis, which we did not have, or they were consisted of sitting around, going around talking about our feelings, what you think about as a support group, which is great. I think that's important and you should have that. But, I wasn't getting out of the house a lot. So when I got out of the house, I wanted to have fun.
Yeah, yes.
That's why I think Moms of Amazing Kids is so unique, is that we are special needs moms, but we like to have fun. Yes. We go out and we have dinner, we have drinks, we meet for coffee, we, take fun classes, paint night, chocolate and wine tasting. We did a pasta making class. We have workshops too on different subjects. So yeah, I think that's
incredible.
Yeah, it's fun. At least when you come home, you can feel satisfied that you connected with somebody else. You were vulnerable, you made that connection, and you had a little bit of fun.
Given that they have to cater to us special need kids, I think it adds on so much for a mom. And talking about that, there are countries, in fact, this happens everywhere, where spouses leave and the special need kid is raised by a single parent. What would a support look like as a friend? If someone is a single parent but has a special need, because, as a friend, I'm sure many people are not equipped with the knowledge and the resources. What would you suggest?
Right. So I guess for a single mother that is raising a child with a disability, it's obviously important to understand what resources you have available, particularly financially.
Right. So that's so important.
Yes, obviously. But as a friend, and I think this goes for anyone, even if your friend is married or is in a relationship, there are so many ways that you can support a friend. Just being there and, having an open conversation with them, offering your help, and not just saying, oh, let me know if I can help you with this. Offer specific ways that you can help.
Right.
Offer to watch the kid for a little bit so the mom can go out for a little bit, because she probably can't get out of the house very often, or she can't afford to pay a babysitter so that she can get out of the house. So that's foremost, probably the most important thing you can do. But also, if you're a mother yourself, bring your kids along. Because who knows how many opportunities their child gets to be around other kids and to really form those friendships. So I think that's a wonderful way to help that mother feel comfortable with her child and your child and form those friendships.
So hold that thought, Sabrina. So you're asking moms to bring their kids, and these kids have very different special needs. Have you seen friendships being forged between the kids, irrespective of what they're going through or what their needs are?
I think so.
Yeah.
So in addition to, I didn't really talk about this too much, but in addition to the events that I organize for our mothers, I also have play dates that I organize outside of Together We Play, which is our inclusive play group. We have exclusive play dates just for our MAC kids. So we meet at the local gym or like a jam time or the playground. And it's a great way for the kids to play with one another in a comfortable setting where nobody's judging.
Yeah.
Their environment is comfortable. And I've definitely, with my own daughter, and I've heard from other people, particularly even, I think I remember a story of a young teenage girl going to a pool party that one of our MAC moms hosted, and she came home and she said, for the first time, I actually felt comfortable being around people and just being myself.
That's incredible. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So this brings me to the next question, Sabrina. You and I live in this world which is full of good people, but also ignorance, rudeness, and discrimination. How do you think one can support a parent dealing with this publicly?
So I'll address two things. So if you're out in public and you see a child that may appear differently or is acting differently, and you're with your own kid, as you said, Don't look away. Look.
Right.
Smile. Say hello.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're people. They're just like you and I. And there's nothing they want more than to be acknowledged and respected.
Right.
And just say hi. So that's really important for me as a mother. If I'm going out and people are acknowledging us, it means a lot. It's just respectful as a human being, you know. just look, say hi, start a conversation. It's just kindness, really.
Right.
You know.
That's so true, Sabrina. I'm at a loss of words, Sabrina, when sometime a situation happens in an airplane, and this happens with all the mothers, I believe. A child is having a meltdown, and I don't know what to do next. Also, I see frowns and unhappy faces, which is unacceptable because there is a mom who's struggling with the kid. Clearly, she's not able to get out of that situation. So, in such a case, I'm usually a spectator, and I would like to know what can I do to soothe her.
Sure. And it's hard for me to speak to everyone because I've spoken to so many mothers about this and everyone kind of has a different opinion about it. I think it's always nice to offer some help. Is there anything I can do? Yeah, just a simple question. Is there anything I can do? Yeah. See, ask if you can help them. You may get a response. Yes, please, can you do this? No. You may get an angry no because they're just so stressed out in the moment. But it's just because it's a stressful moment, especially if you're in public and people are watching, you're just trying to make your kid feel better.
Yes.
So I think it's great to offer help. I think you just need to look at what the circumstances are. You know, I don't think there's any harm in offering help. If somebody says no, hey, at least you offered,
Which is fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just saying, hey, you're doing a great job. I get it. It's hard. You're doing a great job.
Those encouraging words.
It really is. It's encouraging and it makes you feel a little bit better,
Right. I think you're handling everything with such amazing strength and courage, Sabrina, and channeling your creativity and sensitivity into making mom's life a bit more livable and shareable. It's so cool. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how cool I thought this was. Tell us about your vision here.
So, as I said, Moms of Amazing Kids is about the support, the balance, the resources. Like those are so important. And the vision is getting people together face to face and, maybe one day going nonprofit and, raising money so that people can get out of the house that normally can't because they can't hire a babysitter.
Right.
Providing childcare. I think it's so important to have that face-to-face interaction. I think when I really nail it down, I really want to reach the mothers whose kids were just diagnosed.
I know that's like the toughest part of your journey towards addressing your issues.
It is. And I hate to speak for everyone, but everybody goes through something different, but I've spoken to enough moms to know that it's difficult. Yes. You have a lot of emotions that go through you. And, sometimes you feel like it's the end of the world, and it's not. You can live a beautiful life with your child because your child it's yours. There's nothing different about your child. You're going to love them the same no matter what. So being around other people that are positive and that are sending you these messages kind of helps you get there. I always say, people always ask, oh, what advice do you give? There is no shortcut. Mm-hmm. There isn't. Mm-hmm. To get to that moment when you're like, oh, I'm like totally fine. I'm fine. Like this, I am accepting of our situation, and there's no shortcut. You need to go through these experiences yourself. But again, putting these things in place, these supports are really going to help you. And the biggest advice I can give anyone is to be around positive people.
Yes.
I've joined a lot of Facebook groups, and I don't know if I can swear here, but it's kind of a lot of bitching. It's a bitch fest. Yeah. And that's not what I wanted from Moms of Amazing Kids. No. And you can ask probably almost all of my members, hopefully all of them. Moms of Amazing Kids is an incredibly supportive group.
Right.
We're not going to judge you. We're going to give you whatever advice we have. And we're just going to, you got this. We always say, you got this.
You got this.
Or if things are just really difficult and you don't have the words or you don't know the answer, we just say hugs. Really, just hugs. I'm sending you a hug. And
So,
it helps you. It feels good. It feels good.
It does feel good. Yes. I think any mom would want to hear that.
Right.
Any mom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we all have strengths and challenges. Like I said in the beginning of the episode. But none of us are ready to have an all-inclusive world. So there's Marisa's school and everything happening around Mac Moms and all these groups, and then your life with your spouse. That's, I'm sure, no, for me, I feel like, I think I've given up on that. I've had a babysitter after 3 years of my having Neve, and now I feel like, I should have done this much before.
Yeah.
But I have a very wonderful husband. Okay, getting back to the question, I can go on about him today. It's a Mother's Day, no more talking about husbands. So it really inspires me how you're handling everything around you. How do you do it,
You're very sweet. Everybody always says, I've got all, I'm doing all these things. How do you do it? You always have everything put together.
Because everybody wants to know what's happening in the background. Because I'm like, there has to be a structured way of dealing with this. So
I'm sorry, darling.
There's
not. If you come into my home and you see the day-to-day, I don't have my stuff together. There's a pile of dishes on the counter right now.
And the laundry. Never ending.
Forget the laundry.
Yeah, what do you hate most?
Oh, dishes. Oh, definitely dishes.
So tell me, how do you do this? What are your tips?
There's no, there's no secret. There are no tips. It's just taking it day to day. Okay. I'll think of some tips here. You need to find time for yourself, right? If you don't do that, you are going to explode or you're going to fail. And I've been there many times. I've had a lot of difficult times for sure.
I'm sure.
Especially when my daughter's needs are more needed. But, when we're kind of smooth gliding, then I'm able to carve out some time for myself. And more recently, I've started, I guess you could say, mindfulness breathing.
Okay.
Yeah, don't laugh. Okay. I know, right?
No, I'm totally on board with you.
It's really interesting. So I've been doing a lot of deep breathing. I think it's I don't know if you've heard of it, the 4-7-8 breathing technique.
No.
So you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7 seconds, and then you let it out for 8 seconds. And I think you do it maybe 3 times. At one time, 3 times a day.
There's something similar in yoga that's called Anulom Vilom.
Okay. So it's really interesting. So you practice this, right? And the more you practice it, the better you get at it. So that when you are in a moment of crisis, it almost comes more naturally to do this. And it lowers your heart rate and it kind of calms you down. And it's kind of really interesting. So my daughter started school recently. It's the first time I've had time for myself every day. And I started going to the gym.
Oh my goodness.
And I started running.
Wow.
Okay. I have not been to the gym in 5 years. Don't even ask me when was the last time I ran. I got on that treadmill. I ran 2.5 miles the first time. I did not have any trouble breathing. It's really interesting.
How wonderful.
I think that me practicing that breathing kind of helped me get through running for 2.5 miles when I haven't done it for 10 years.
Getting back to gym is actually helped me get out of my postpartum anxiety. So I suffered from it, and it was undiagnosed for a long stretch of time. So I think gymming was the best thing that could happen to me, and I'm so thankful to my husband. Right. Coming to that next question, how's the spousal unit like in your life?
Shoot.
Let's talk about husbands here now.
Well, it's been difficult. I'm not going to lie, especially when my daughter was first diagnosed. Each person goes through their emotions differently. And just because my husband and I were married didn't mean that we experienced those emotions the same. And it's kind of funny. I would have a good day, I would have a high, and he would be struggling. And then the next day it would be the opposite. So we kind of carried each other through that.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to carve time for one another. And sometimes it's just really difficult to do that, you know? I always say there are seasons of when things are going really well and you can focus on these things. And then there are other seasons where you're just grinding at it, you know, and it's kind of hard to make time for one another.
True that, yeah. So when the babysitter is in, how are the date nights spent?
Very rare date nights that we have.
I think I had only 2 in the past 3 years.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, we'll go out to dinner and we'll kind of sit there and look at each other and be like, "Oh my God, this is so weird."
You just
what do we talk about?
Oh my God, you just spoke my heart. All right, so here we are at the rapid fire round, and this is a round that has questions about your favorites. So you can take your time, but it would be better if you answer them quickly. All right, here we go. First question. So your favorite hangout in Wayland?
Panera.
Really?
Don't laugh. But okay, maybe it's not my favorite, but it's the one I frequent the most.
Okay.
Because my babysitter comes in the afternoon.
And you can just go there and...
And it's just easy to go there with my laptop and just sit and relax. But really, it's anywhere that kind of serves alcohol. It's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Probably the local.
Do you have a nickname, Sabrina?
People call me Sabs sometimes.
I call you Sabs.
Yeah, that goes way back to like high school.
Your proudest moment?
When I had my daughter.
Oh, has to be that. I mean, it's the same with so many moms.
It's true. It's true, though.
Your current favorite show on Netflix or anything that you're watching?
Oh, gosh. I just finished Dead to Me on Netflix. Mm-hmm. It was okay. It was pretty good. I guess my favorite, I don't think it's on Netflix, but it's called I'm Sorry.
Where is it?
I don't know what channel it's on.
See, we don't even. I actually catch the
It's
first
really
10
funny.
and the last 10.
It's really funny. It's about a mom. She's raising her daughter with her husband, and it's a really lighthearted, funny show. Her daughter asks a lot of uncomfortable questions, and she navigates how to answer them truthfully, but it's just very uncomfortable, but very funny.
Okay, so we'll log that in. Your current favorite book?
Oh, gosh. These favorite questions are very hard for me. I'm so indecisive.
With the books, anybody will be.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've finished more than 2 books in the past 1 year, but yeah.
Oh, I have not read any books for enjoyment in a while. But I did just finish Brene Brown's The Gifts of Imperfection, which I really loved. I'm a huge fan. Is it a
fiction?
It's like self-help.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, you should look her up. You'll love her. She she did a popular TED Talk, and she has a new Netflix special you should watch, too.
Okay.
Ooh, wait, I have another one, too, though.
Okay.
Can I answer
Yes,
another
absolutely.
one? I'm difficult, I know. I just discovered this woman. Her name is Shasta Nelson. Mm-hmm. She wrote 2 books on frientimacy, which is intimacy with friendships, which is very interesting. And I took them because of my group, because I want to help form more
bonding and more connections.
Yes, and I actually took a course with her online.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Yep, and she's amazing. Look her up.
I will.
It's very insightful.
All right.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Your favorite mindfulness activity? You just told us about it.
Yes.
But your favorite mindfulness activity will be the breathing thing that you said?
Yeah,
or
probably.
Is there anything else? You know what? I clean my house. If that counts as mindfulness, because my mind is absolutely focused on cleaning and getting things arranged.
Yeah, I do that too, especially when I'm stressed out.
What does self-care looks like to you?
That's a difficult question. I used to think it was going to get a mani and pedi or massage, that kind of stuff, which is really nice, but it doesn't really sustain you.
Doesn't last long.
Right. Nope. So self-care are things you do every day that help you with your stress levels and just give you a little bit of peace, even for just a few moments.
Guess what? This rapid fire round might look trivial to people, but it brings out so much insight. And I'm so happy we have those questions. Cities you would love to explore?
Oh, gosh, any city in Italy. I love Italy. Yes, I've been, but I would love to go back and explore Florence and Rome.
Okay, things you could do if you were brave.
Probably give a talk, give a speech I would love to reach more people at one time, but I'm so afraid of public speaking.
It's so natural though. Favorite place to escape?
The bathroom.
Is there?
Don't tell me you haven't shut the door in the bathroom.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. I think most of my friends and my family knows that if I'm talking to them, I'm talking from the washroom. Yeah, that's so crazy, right?
It's the most frequent place that I escape, but I don't know if it's my favorite. I guess my favorite, just walking outside and going for a walk. I live right near Drumlin Farm, and I love to walk around those roads.
Nice. Well, it's the weekend, and well, I had such a great time talking to you. I learned a lot, and I'm expecting our listeners did too. The support of other people, unconditional acceptance, a non-judgmental space where moms of amazing kids, in fact, parents of amazing kids, can live and breathe in. Sabrina, you're creating a possibility in this world to make it better, an inclusive world. Thank you so much for all that you do, Let's sip some wine and celebrate Mother's Day.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Woo woo!
Hello, listeners. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode. It's going to be so much fun. Also, do not forget to leave a review on Apple Podcast if you're on iPhone or any other app you're listening this podcast on. Don't forget to tune in for the next episode. This is Yamini, your host, and you were listening to Women of Wayland, the podcast.